Good day, everyone. We are from Biles 2A and we're going to discuss the period of the New Society.
The period of the New Society. The period of the New Society started on September 21st, 1972. The Carlos Palanca Award continued to give annual awards. This period has brought both positive and negative impacts in the field of literature. There was changes in the novels, short stories, plays, essay, and comics. Debate have been quietly known during this period. All themes in most writing deal with the development or progress of the country, like Green Revolution, family planning to avoid more population and poverty of the country, proper nutrition to protect people against many chronic non-communicable diseases, the beautification of environment, drug addiction, and pollution. The society tried to stop pornography or those writing giving bad influences on moral of the people. Another thing about the new period of society is the military government established a new office called the Ministry of Public Affairs that supervise the newspapers, book, and other publications. The government took part in reviving old plays like Cenaculo, Zarzuela, and the Mbayoka of the Muslims. The cultural center of the Philippines, the folk arts, theater, and even old Metropolitan Theater were rebuilt in order to have a place for these days. Singing both Filipino and English song received fresh incentives. Those set abroad promoted many Filipinos.
Filipino poetry in the period of the New Society. Themes of most poems dealt with patience, regard for native culture, customs, and the beauties of nature and surroundings. Those who wrote poetry during this period were Ponciano Pineda, Anicerto Silvestre, Jose Garcia Revelo, Bienvenido Ramos, Vicente Dimasalang, Sir Lopez Francisco, and Pelayo Solit Cruz. Many more composers are there built during this period. Among them were Freddy Aguilar, Jose Marichan, and the group of Tito, Vic, and Joey. Anak of Freddy Aguilar became an instant success because of the spirit and the emotions revealed in the song. There were even translations in Japanese and in other languages.
The play under the New Society. In this period, old plays and dramas were revived like the Tagalog Zarzuela, Cenaculo, and the Mbayoka of the Muslim, which were presented in the rebuilt Metropolitan Theater, the Folk Arts Theater, and the Cultural Center of the Philippines. Many schools and organizations also presented varied plays. The Mindanao State University presented a play Sining Mbayoka at the Cultural Center of the Philippines. In 1977, the Tales of Monuvu, a new style of rock of the ballet opera, was also added to these presentations. This was also performed by Celeste Legaspi, Lea Navarro, Haji Alejandro, Boy Camara, Anthony Castelio, Ray Dizon, and choreographed by Alec Reyes. Even the president's daughter at the time participated as a performing artist in the principal role of Santa Juana of Coral and the Diary of Anne Frank. The following organizations contributed a lot to the development of plays during this period. PETA of Cecil Gidot and Lino Broca, Repertory Philippines of Rebecca Godines and Zenaida Amarador, third, UP Repertory of Ben Cervantes, and fourth, Teatro Filipino by Rolando Tino.
Comics, magazine, and other publication. During this period of New Society, newspaper donned new forms. News on economic progress, discipline, culture, tourism, and the like was favored more than one sensationalized reporting of killings, rape, and robberies. Filipinos before were hooked in reading magazine and comics. Given below are some of the examples. Liwayway is a leading Tagalog weekly magazine published in the Philippines since 1922. Papers during this period were Bulletin Today, Times Journal, People's Journal, Balita, Filipino Express, Philippine Daily Express, Evening Post, Evening Express. Liwayway had been an old-time favorite of the Filipinos since 1920. Other magazines were Kislap, Bulaklak, Extra Hot, Jingle Sensation. Like Mushroom, comics also proliferated everywhere and enjoyed by the masses. Among these were Filipino, Extra, Love Life, Hiwaga, Classic, and Especial. Angka awardees. A short story category in 1972 to 1973. First prize, Spot on Their Wings and Other Stories by Antonio Enriquez. Second prize, On Friends You Can Pin Such Hope by Ines Takad Camayo. Third prize, The Liberation of Mrs. Fidela Magsilang by Jaime A. Lim. Poetry category in 1972 to 1973. First prize, Charts by Circulo F. Bautista. Second prize, A Trick of Mirrors by Rolando S. Tino. And third prize, Alapaaps Mountain by Erwin E. Castillo.
Radio continued to be patronized during this period. Broadcast radio came into prominence early in the 20th century. It delighted the public by providing news and entertainment with an immediacy that radio developed into the first electronic mass medium. But broadcast radio's popularity was eclipsed by television, which appears about 1945. The television was originally conceived as a potential medium for education and interpersonal communication, ultimately evolved into a vibrant broadcast medium that offered a diverse slate of news and entertainment to people all over the world. However, many performing artists in radio moved over to television because of the higher pay. Among these were Augusto Victo, Esther Chavez, and Melly Tagasa. That's why they chose to move because internet made it possible to watch them in TV anywhere and anytime.
Filipino Films, a yearly pista ng mga pelikulang Pilipino or Yearly Filipino Film Festival, was held during this time. During the festival, which lasted usually for a month, only Filipino films were shown in all theaters in Metro Manila. Prizes and trophies were awarded at the end of the festival in recognition of excellence in filmmaking and in role performances. Yearly pista ng mga pelikulang Pilipino examples of films. First is Maynila sa mga kuko ng liwanag, written by Edgardo Reyes. Next is Minsay Isang Gamo-Gamo. Next, Ganito Kami Noon, Paano Kayo Ngayon, led by Christopher De Leon and Gloria Diaz. Fourth is Insyang by Hilda Cornell, and last is Agila, led by Fernando Poe Jr., J. Iligan, and Christopher De Leon.
An overview of the literature during the New Society, bilingual education, which was initiated by the Board of National Education as early as 1958 and continued up to the period of martial rule in September 21, 1972, result in the determination of English in the different levels of education. The focus of education and culture was on problems of national identity or reorientation, renewed vigor, and a firm resolve to carry out plans and programs. The forms of literature that led during this period with the essays, debates, and poetry. The short stories, like the novels and plays, were no different in style from those written before the onset of activism. Some of the books that came out during this period were I Married a Newspaperman, essay by Maria Luna Lopez, wife of newspaperman Salvador B. Lopez, 1976. The Modern Filipino short story by Patricia Melendres Cruz, 1980. Cross Currents in Afro-Asian Literature by Rustica D. Carpio, 1976. Brief Time to Love by Ophelia F. Lim Kako. Medium Rare and Tell the People feature articles and TV program by Julia Daza.